Hello, my name is Matt Wilson, and I'm the president of the University of Akron. Thank you for joining me today for an important discussion about the University of Akron and my first 4 months as president, where we are and where we're going. I wish that we would be able to do this live in a setting that I could invite all of you, but there are so many members of our family that the only way that we could practically do this was through a video message. So thank you for watching today. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email or through telephone, or any of the administrators here at the university. They would be happy to help you as well. Over the first 4 months of my presidency, there has been much good news, a lot of great press, and we're very thankful for what we've seen. We've seen an uptick in donations here at the University of Akron, including a $3 million donation by the Knight Foundation for our polymer science and polymer engineering program. We've been very excited by that. As I have gotten out into the community, I've been very touched by support not only of alumni, but of members of the community, governmental leaders, leaders of industry, and even everyone on the street. They seem to be very positive and happy with the University of Akron. Personally, I've been involved in admissions, as you know, and as I visit high schools and I interact with principals and guidance counselors and students, they're all very excited and positive about what we have here at the University of Akron. There's a lot of excitement, and I'm very excited to see what is in store going forward. Now, at the same time, as I've been talking about in town halls that I've been holding around campus, we have many challenges. In fact, I don't think that's any secret in terms of, where we've been over the last couple of years. There's been some turbulence, and I'm honored with your trust as we move forward here to try and work through that, to make us an even stronger institution, and to be able to take the University of Akron into our community in an even greater light, and do that as well across the state of Ohio, across the nation, and across the world. So today let's talk about a couple of things. The first of which is when I first came in as president, we asked Ernst & Young to come in and to compile a report to look at the University of Akron, look at our history in terms of our enrollment and our finances, to give us a picture of where we are right now and help us out with where we're going. In fact, Ernst & Young, they've got a lot of great expertise in higher education. We have experts from Ernst & Young that have been working with municipalities and with cities to help them transform to meet the challenges of current day finances and the like. And so we have a website that has been put together that has the report. And it also has a plan of what we're looking to do going forward. We're very excited about the potential, but at the same time, we understand what the realities are. And so I want to talk to you about the realities, and I want to talk to you about the potential as well. So with that, as many of you have heard, we are operating this year on a $30 million deficit. Now, before my time, there was a plan that was put in place in terms of how we were going to cover that deficit. But let me talk to you a little bit in terms of the slides that have actually been prepared. So as you can see, this year, in 2016 and 2017, the academic year, we refer to that as fiscal year 2017 in the budget, you can see we're anticipating expenses of $422 million. Now, please be assured, and as you've heard me talk about, we're trying to keep those expenses down to the extent that we can, and we'll continue to do that this year to make it so that our transformation occurs even quicker. Our revenue is going to be short of what we anticipated. In fact, it's going to be $404 million is what we believe it's going to be. And so that has left an $18 million deficit that's going to be covered from reserves in our bank account. Truly, I wish that our bank accounts were a lot deeper than they are. And so we're trying to avoid this going forward as much as we can in the future so that we can have that stable foundation and we can build upon that stable foundation and continue to serve our students in the best manner possible. Now, as I talk about 18 million, I also want to qualify some things for you because really that deficit is 30 million. Well, where does that come from? Well, what we've done this year is we have some accelerated savings on the refinancing of our bonds and our debt that has enabled us to take a $7 million refinancing and apply that towards our budget this year. We also, through holding on hiring and conserving expenses and doing a whole host of things there, we're looking at realizing a savings of $5 million. And that gives us that $30 million that's going to help us cover our revenue downfall. Now, why do we have this revenue downfall and this deficit? Well, a lot of it comes from the last 5 years and what we have seen our enrollment do. So let me talk to you about our enrollment. And first of all, let me talk to you about kind of the realities of where we are and break it down essentially by class. As you can see here on this slide, 5 years ago, we had 4,611 new freshmen coming on in. 5 years, fast forward, this year we have 3,440. In terms of transfers or non-traditional freshmen, we had 4,411 just 5 years ago. This year we have 1,693. As you can see, there's been a lot of downward trending in terms of our enrollment and where we have gone. Now, if I look over here, in terms of our sophomores and our juniors, they're pretty stable in terms of classes, but our senior class, combined with the other category, they're very big. In fact, if you look at our seniors and our others, I mean, we're talking well over 5,000, maybe even in the 6,000 range, and I would anticipate that we're going to have a very large class graduating in December and then graduating in May. That's great news because it's our goal here at the University of Akron to make sure that we retain students and we graduate students. The downside is that we have a very small first-year class. We have a very large senior class in our undergraduate side of the ledger. And undergraduate enrollment really is what helps fuel our revenue side of the ledger. So, what does that mean? Well, what that means is that back in 2011, our enrollment was at 29,699. This year, we're at 23,152. From a revenue standpoint, that means that if you go back to 2011, we were at $419 million. This year, we're looking to be at $358 million. Now, we've done a lot of things. This past year, we had some difficulties with cuts, programs, and people. It's been my mission to try and avoid cutting people, cutting programs, and helping us work through, build upon our strengths to really be able to stabilize and to invest and grow. And I'll talk about all of those things as we move forward. But we cut $20 million out of our budget last year, meaning that our administration and our staff levels have reduced substantially. There's no bloating. We're doing the best that we can, and I believe that we're providing the students with a great experience and will continue to do so. But it provides us some challenges going forward as we're looking at decreases in students and the decrease in revenue that we've got. Now, I have a plan, and I've been talking to a lot of folks about what that plan is. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the plan to stabilize and to invest and to grow. And this is a 2-year plan with 3 objectives. And let's talk about the stabilization side. I've seen a lot of stabilization over the last 4 months. There's a great mood here on the campus. There's a great mood in the community. And as I talk to folks around the state, there really is a lot of excitement as it comes to the University of Akron. But we do have a financial challenge. We have that $30 million deficit that we've used one-time funding for essentially this year. And then we're going to need to cover another downturn next year that I believe is going to happen due to this large graduating class. But I'm buoyed by the fact that with this plan, we'll see an uptick the year after that. So what are we going to do, and what does it mean? Well, let me tell you what I've done over the last 4 months. So we've enlisted Ernst & Young to come in and to talk to us about how we can attack our deficit, what we can do to stabilize our budget, and what we can do to grow. I've talked to our leadership team. This involves 25 to 30 individuals who have sat down and we've talked about potential solutions. This involves you and the feedback that you provided to me when I sent out a call early on in my presidency for ideas of how to save and how to invest and how to grow revenue and the like. It includes the Tiger team and the recommendations that have come from the Tiger team. We've also spent time talking with the Executive Committee of the Faculty Senate, the Executive Committee of the University Council, and we've also talked with the union representatives as well. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to look at increasing student retention. If a student comes here, we need to be doing everything in our power to making sure that they stay and that they graduate in an area that's going to provide them with a job. That's what it's all about. And we've got the benefit here of at the University of Akron of being invested in experiential learning, caring about our students, having great internship and externship and co-op programs. Many of our disciplines, they have placement rates that are well over 90%, some of them even at the 100% mark, and I'm very encouraged by that. But we need to do even more to increase our graduation rate and our retention. I've challenged the deans to come up with objective metrics in terms of what they're going to do to increase retention. I've talked to undergraduate student government. We've been talking about this in university council and leadership meetings and all across the campus in terms of what we can do to improve student retention. I'm convinced that being a family and creating that family-like environment, engaging with our students in the classroom and outside of the classroom, these are the things that are vital to exactly what we're doing. But you know, we need to do more than talk. We need to have action. And so in meeting with the deans and the leadership, I have challenged them to come up with a percentage increase in retention, also to take concrete measures to get it done, so that we can not only retain students, but we can get them graduated. Because I'm a believer that when we have a student that comes into our family, that we need to do everything possible within our power to help them graduate. And that's where we need to be, and that's what we need to do to stabilize. Another thing that we're looking at doing is optimizing our scholarshiping strategy. In my previous institutions and even here at Akron Law, one of the things that I have done is I've really taken an in-depth look and analysis of the scholarships, how we award them and what we do with them. With scholarships, you're looking at attracting students to the institution, retaining students, and helping them graduate. And I've got some ideas and I've got some plans that I'm looking forward to discussing with folks to see how we can make this work to attract even more students here while at the same time saving money. And yes, it's possible. I've done it at the law school. I've done it at other universities, and I'm very excited to do the same. The next strategy that we have is a buyout package. And this is something that I've talked about in town hall meetings, and this is something that we're going to need to move forward with. Now, today as I stand here, we don't have anything concrete in terms of how we're going to do that. There's going to be a discussion that will be had among the constituencies here. We will bring in some experts who have done this before. Many universities today are doing these buyouts here in the state of Ohio, even in our neighborhood in Pennsylvania, Penn State. They recently did a buyout as well. And so we'll be looking at the options with a target of saving money. It's my goal to avoid involuntary layoffs and cuts. We saw what happened last year. I'm trying to avoid that the best that I can. And I think collectively as we come together and we work and we find ways to strategically save, we find ways to strategically invest, and we do different things, it will work and it will help us stabilize. Another thing that we're going to be looking at is optimizing the use of graduate assistantships. I understand how near and dear this is to everyone's hearts. And I understand the importance of having GAs here on campus. At the same time, we can do a much better job with our graduate assistants in optimizing the use of those GA-ships. What we've seen is the universities in the area have done that. Universities around the United States have done that. It just takes a fresh set of eyes to come in and look at how we can optimize those type of things. Another thing that we're talking about is optimizing class schedules and current program portfolios. Looking at ways to increase fundraising, including our development officers, and really investing in development, because there are folks out there that they want to become involved with the University of Akron, and we need to foster those relationships, grow those relationships, and help raise scholarship dollars and other monies to support our programs, to support our students. The next thing in terms of stabilizing is really reducing our expenses. Now we're going to rely on you to do this, to try and find ways to be conservative. I've tried to set the tone through the way that I'm approaching my job and the way that I'm approaching different activities, whether it's foregoing certain things that a university president tends to avail themselves of, or whether it's being conservative in terms of the number of parties that we have, cutting down and minimizing on the amount of travel that we do across the board. We'll be having Ernst & Young looking at our utilities and our energy, our travel, our IT, our procurement systems, and other types of things, because we believe that we can, with expertise, maximize the savings there and really look to move forward and attack the financial challenge that we have. Second objective really is to go out and to invest. Well, what are we going to invest in? Well, we need to invest in the retention of students. How do you do that? Well, we can do that through our scholarship program. We can do that through coming up with programs that involve faculty and staff. Even a smile, something as simple as that, helps in retaining students. Saying hello, engaging them in conversation. Please help me engage in that and make this the most friendly campus, really, not only in Northeast Ohio, but in Ohio and in the region as well. And as we look forward to do this, we'll also be talking about different programs that we can implement to help out with student retention so that we'll invest in them. We'll also be looking at investing in flexible programming. We used to have a very robust evening program. We've kind of gotten away from that. That's hurt us in terms of non-traditional students, students who need to work during the day. We don't have the classes at night. And so I would like to see us come up with 20 to 30 majors that we can offer that students can come, they can take that either in the evening, on the weekends, maybe even on an online capacity, and they can complete their entire degree without having to attend here during the day. If we do that, I believe that we will be serving an underserved population, and it will really help not only stabilize us, but as we invest, it will help us grow. Another area that we need to invest in really is the international side of the ledger. Now, as you know, it's really near and dear to my heart. Having spent a good chunk of my adult life overseas, having engaged in international education, not only as a student, but also as a professor, and then also as an administrator as well. The benefits of international education abound. We have many great pieces of internationalization here on our campus, but we need an international center to come together. We need to invest in terms of someone to lead that center, to recruit international students, and to recruit students from Ohio and other parts of the country that are interested in an international experience. And we'll be looking to invest to create that international experience here on the campus of the University of Akron. We'll also be looking at finding a transformation leader, someone who can come in, or transformation leaders, and help us lead these initiatives, whether it's our flexible programs, whether it's our international programming, whether it's the financial side of the ledger as well. We need leaders to help us implement these key strategies that we're looking at. We'll also be focusing on fundraising growth. If we invest in fundraising, I'm confident that the Making a Difference Moving Forward campaign that we've rolled out will be even more successful. That we'll see investment in our different programs. We'll see investment in research. We'll see investment in the University of Akron, and I'm very excited by what the future holds there. Another thing that we need, that I've discovered over the last 4 months, is we need better reports. We need analytics. We need to be able to have the figures that are necessary so that we can plan accordingly. We can plan who we are for the future. I'd like to sit down with the campus community and talk about our strategic plan. To do that, we really should have data underlying it. So as we move forward, we have the metrics, we have the objective numbers to be able to go out and set goals that will help us grow over decades to come. My third objective really is growth. And as we talk about stabilize, as we talk about invest, and we talk about grow, growing enrollment, that's something that we absolutely need to do. As I mentioned to you, we'll probably see a downtick in enrollment this coming year, but the following year I anticipate we'll see an uptick in enrollment. I anticipate we'll see another uptick the year after that. I'm very confident that as the freshmen, the future freshmen, discover us, that we will see our health in terms of freshman enrollment return. This year we were down by 19%. I believe that we'll be able to stabilize that, and we'll be able to increase that as the freshmen find out about the 300 programs that we have that are waiting here for them. The adults and non-traditional students, we need to be more open, more friendly. We need to create pathways. We need to eliminate obstacles, academic or procedural, so that these students can come back, realize their education, and get their degree here at the University of Akron. And I talked about international programming as well. And part of that is going to be partnerships with international institutions. It's going to be unique and creative and innovative ways to attract international students, some of which I've done here at the University of Akron at the law school and my other institutions as well. We'll look to grow partnerships with employers and really look at the corporate side of the ledger and what we can do to partnership and to move forward. We'll grow our endowment, and we'll look to strengthen our partnerships with community colleges. What research shows, and we all know this, is the value of a 4-year degree really is $1 million over the lifetime of a current or a future student. A master's and a doctoral or a professional degree even goes above and beyond that. And we need to be reaching out to those in the community and helping them understand exactly what that growth opportunity is and why we are so important and what we can do here at the University of Akron to help folks grow. Thank you very much for joining me today. Please do visit the website. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. As I've mentioned to you time and time again, I'm very, very encouraged by what I've seen here at the University of Akron. I know we have many challenges. You know, I'm an optimist, but I'm a realist at the same time. But one thing I can say is, as I go around Northeast Ohio, as I go around the city of Akron, as I go around the state of Ohio, I'm truly proud to be a Zip because I know that we have a rich legacy. We have an incredible heritage, and each one of us plays such a vital role in making that success go forward. Now is the time to come together. If we can't come together, things will be even more difficult. If we come together, we'll be able to get through the challenge that is before us today. We'll be able to see that growth. We'll be able to see greatness in the future, and most importantly, we'll be able to see the success of our students. Because as you will hear me say, it's all about the students. And if we keep our eye on the students, if we surround ourselves with students, if we use our energies to boost up the students and to edify them in everything that we do, the greatness of this university will be taken to an even greater level. Thank you. I hope that you have a very happy Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to the rest of the semester and being in communication again soon. Thank you.